Hello, I'm Darlene Young from Arlington, and I'm here to welcome you to another segment in 2016 for our program series Mindful Health Alternatives. It appears here on CAT TV monthly on Channel 15. The goal of this series is to introduce you to a less stressful lifestyle through several different methods of integrative and alternative medicines. Our guest today is Amy Green. And Amy has a business called Amy Green LMT. She's a massage therapy. She's a massage therapist who also practices aromatherapy in her office at 215 Benmont Avenue here in Bennington. Today, Amy will speak about aromatherapy and massage, answer a few questions, and give a demonstration on our own Alex Reichert from our content manager here at CAT TV. Just a quick reminder to all of our viewers to always check with your primary care physician or your provider before starting a new program for your health. And this is very important with regards to massages, massage therapy, or aromatherapy, because as Amy will tell you in a few minutes, some of the aromatherapy products can trigger seizures. And if you've experienced like a DVT, a deep venous thrombosis, or a blood clot in your leg, probably not ready for a massage right at the moment. Okay,
No.
so make sure you check with your physician before you venture into the world of massage or aromatherapy. Amy, welcome to Mindful Health Alternatives.
Thank
I'm so
you.
glad that you're here
I'm
today.
very excited to be here.
We've actually been planning this for probably a couple of months now, and with the new year, I thought this would be wonderful to start the new year off with essential oils and aromatherapy and massage, and it makes you feel so good.
It
And
really does. It's depending on what blend you're using or what synergy you're using, you can relax, you can awaken yourself.
it's good.
The sky's the limit.
And from previous, massage therapy routes that I've been, and also from research, it starts when you start with the aromatherapy. It starts going into your nose, into your brain, and throughout your body, and it just is one. How do I want to say cycle, an introduction to different parts all the
Absolutely,
time.
and it's
So
the only sense that has the direct route to your brain.
that's good. That's good.
So it goes fast.
It's good. All right, so to start the program, I'm going to have Amy tell a little bit about herself, and then we'll get right into massage therapy and aromatherapy and discuss a couple of different things, and then we'll take a quick break and change the set and get Alex out here.
Okay.
Thank you.
I grew up in Kingston, New York.
Okay.
I'm one out of 7 girls in my family. I went to massage therapy school in the Swedish Institute in Manhattan,
Oh, really?
which was a very awakening experience being in the city. I'm a country girl, so it was a little different going to the city, but I graduated in 2000 and I started working part-time. It's one of those businesses you have to slowly build.
Right.
It's not one that you're just going to open and everyone comes to you. So people have to trust you, and you have to, put yourself out there a little
And
bit
word
and
of
work
mouth,
with
and
people.
I mean, if you're kind to your customers and you do a good
Absolutely.
job, then
Absolutely.
you're going to get more.
Referrals, and that's usually with massage therapy how you build your business.
Great.
I moved to this area in 2001. I moved to Vermont from New York, and I ended up going back to school, Southern Vermont College,
Okay.
and I got a business degree there.
Good for you.
And then from there, I met my husband, and we, got married. We moved around a little bit here and there, but then we decided this is where we wanted to settle down.
Good.
We had 3 children. And then I said, okay, I need something that I can do while being a mom at home and still, being able to go out and work and provide. So I started my business here about 6 years ago, slowly working my way up. I started in New York, in Hoosick, and then about a year and a half ago, Jody Lawless Corrado brought me to Benmont Avenue, where
Very
we are
good.
now. So, yeah.
So you're in the old mill building.
It's an
down
old
there?
mill. Yep,
Okay.
it's at 160 Benmont Ave. You had
160,
mentioned
okay,
215
sorry,
earlier.
sorry.
That's okay. That's
Okay.
okay. Not a problem.
And like a third floor?
It's the second
Second
floor.
Okay, because I'm just trying to remember what
It's a
Jody
big
told
mill.
me. Yeah.
So we're the same side as where Revolution's gym is. We're the same wing.
Okay.
We're just the door at the back where the fence meets the building.
Okay.
There's a doorway, and we go up to the second floor.
And last time Jody was here, she said that not a elevator per se. There's a cargo elevator.
There's
or
a cargo elevator that's not yet. You can't ride on it if you're
yeah.
a person. So I think they're in the works of fixing that, though. So hopefully.
Now, have you ever
down the road.
gone to a person's home if they can't make the steps or anything like that?
I do see a couple people.
Do you?
I'm very picky when it
Okay,
comes to that.
sure.
You know, you have to be in order. But it's usually if someone can't come out, I usually try to work with them, and if I can get there.
Good. Now, if our viewers need to get a hold of you, your telephone number?
It's area code 845-901-3868, and it's the 845 because it was a New York business that I have moved in, and I have kept the same phone number.
So it's 845?
845-901-3868.
3868. Wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your
All right. Well,
business,
I actually
okay?
started going back to school for aromatherapy last year. I started, and it's been amazing different courses that I've been taking. I go through the the Aromahead Institute, which is out of New York.
Oh, really?
A little bit closer up towards Buffalo.
Okay.
And they do their courses online.
Oh,
which
do they?
is
Because I was going to say,
really
do you have to
great.
make the
And
journey there a
I
lot,
don't
or-
have to. I can
okay.
do it online, and I can do it at my own time schedule.
Good for
So, you know, they give you all the information. You kind of take your quizzes as you go, and then at the end there's a final exam, and
Very
you know,
good.
do all that.
So you can mix all of your potions.
So you
and
can mix
everything at
and
home.
it's all
Good.
playing and getting used to the oils, because that's
good.
really trying to understand the oils, because there's so many different essences that there are. So, and it's been a lot of fun. And I've been able to, from taking these classes, that I started making my own massage creams now. I no longer buy my products. I've been doing everything within. So it's nice. I can make my creams. I can make lip butters. I can make room sprays. And I try to individualize each one to the person that comes.
Very good.
So that, you know, whatever they're working with, if they're super stressed, if, you know, they're anxious, they're worried about something, I can put together a few oils to help them calm down and settle. And you can do the opposite. If someone's just depressed and gloomy, you can use citrusy-like oils to help awaken them
Oh,
and
that's
bring
good.
them and make them feel a little bit happy and less
Now,
less
at
blue.
this time of the year when there's less sunlight, do you see a lot of folks that come in and they're not really doom and gloom, but they're
Absolutely.
kind of depressed
Yeah,
because of
well, we have
no
that
sun?
vitamin D deficiency
Yeah.
in the Northeast because the sunlight is only, you know, it's out there sometimes, but we're not feeling the effects of
Right.
it. It's too far away. So a lot of this time of year, I find I use a little bit more citrus. Not only is it help with uplifting people, it's also good for immune boosts. This time of year, everyone's coming down with colds and flus, and you know, you walk around and everyone's sniffling, and you're like, you know, I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
Everyone's sharing all those lovely germs, but. So I in my room, I always diffuse some citrus oil to help break down any of those bacteria that wants to
Very
come in
good.
and invade.
Good.
So I love doing that.
Sure.
And then I also make, there's inhalers that I make for people on an individual basis. It's kind of like a chapstick, but inside there's a hole and there's cotton on the inside, and I put 10 to 12 drops of essential oil depending on the blend, and then they can bring it with them. So it's not just when they're coming to get the massage, but afterwards
So you
they can go home.
always, you know, get yourself back on.
Absolutely.
Amy and I were talking before we went on camera. I think when I was younger, and I'm not telling you how old I am, Vicks Vapor Rub used to put out something that was in a container like this, and if you felt a cold coming on or
You
something,
would smell it.
I can remember my dad using it, and then as we got older, we were allowed to use it, you know, and you just would take a whiff of it. So this is good because if you're having some downtime and
Absolutely.
you needed the citrus spring, if you will, that
and
would
it
be
also
good.
you can take care of yourself at home, which is just as important as when you come to get a massage. You don't want to erase everything you've just done in the massage by going home and doing the same thing you always do. So you get to take it with you and
Good.
carry it. I was actually, over the holidays, there was a huge cold going around in our family, and I took one that had, actually, I think I brought the vapor, and I put it inside this, and every time I felt a little sniffle or the urge to sneeze, or I would just smell it. And I did not get the full-blown cold. I only got the congestion part, and that helped loosen up the congestion.
So eucalyptus and mint, do I smell?
There's peppermint. There's 2 different types of eucalyptus in there. I think there's cypress. There is. It's a nice blend.
It's very nice.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing with the oils is you can have a single note, like orange, for example. You know, very citrusy, very uplifting, sweet smelling, and then you can have a blend of the vapor or another blend that you can make that puts together, you know, different blends, different smells, and they work together.
Okay.
You know, usually when you do a blend, there's a base, a top note, and then a middle note, and that depends on how well it evaporates. Some of the top notes, well, strong in the beginning, but by the end of your breath, it's already evaporated, and you're smelling some of the earthier tones, which are in the middle, and the base is like the stronger, long-lasting smells.
Now, something that I was reading when I was doing some more research was that it's important to make sure that it's like essential oils and that they're organic oils.
There are a lot of places out there that claim that, you know, they're using top grade, therapeutic oils, but they, you know, they may use a little bit, and then they can sometimes mix in some chemical synergies in there and to try to base it out. So I always try to find organic if I can, and that way you know that you're working with a.
Okay. And you were also saying on your inhaler, you make sure that it's like organic cotton because so many
some
things
of the cotton that because the set that comes with it comes with little cotton strips, that little rounds that you can put in it, but sometimes the cotton that they make them with are, you know, use processed chemicals to keep them together, and when they roll them and keeping them clean. So I tend to like to find like just organic cotton, and I roll it up and I stick it inside.
Good.
Just to be a little bit on the safer side if you're going to be smelling it and putting it that close to your, you know, your face.
Now, just a quick question. They can be like combustible. I mean, if somebody is a smoker, I mean, they don't want to work around their.
No, yeah. You like any oil, you want to be careful. They can be. You always want to keep them in dark bottles. That's why you see the dark brown, the amber, or the blue. They do make a green bottle as well.
Oh, do they? Okay.
But if it's clear, the sunlight can penetrate it, and then it can change the properties of it. And like you said, they can get combustible. Cool, dry places, dark places are the best places to store them. And you always want to make sure the caps are on tight so they're not seeping out. And not only will it keep it from combusting, or, you know, it'll also keep it from drying out and losing the smells. Some last longer than others, so it's always trying to keep them, you know, as long as you possibly can.
So far, this is delightful because you're getting the fragrance of these
just from
essential
sitting
oils.
here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's like, okay, this is good.
You can use citrus to keep yourself awake at night if you're driving.
Oh, really?
I've made several of them in the little inhalers for people that, you know, drive late at night and it gets dark and you get tired, and you can smell the citrus and it'll awaken you and kind of keep you going.
Okay. That's good to know. I've never heard that before. That's good. Okay.
You can also make it into creams. This is a lemon lavender aloe cream that I make, and you can just smell, and you can just rub it into your skin. It absorbs nicely.
Can I just take a little?
Absolutely, please do. Please do. That's why it's here.
Thank you.
And the aloe, which is great for absorbing into the skin, and just, it doesn't leave you tacky like sometimes some things do.
No, it's practically absorbed now.
Yeah,
That's
and
good.
it goes right in. And then with the oils, if you want it to absorb quickly, you do it in like a lotion. The thicker the cream, a little bit more longer, it'll sit on the top of the skin. And the more base oil that you use, the longer it'll sit on top of the skin. So if you're looking for something you want to happen right away, you could go with direct, like an inhaler, or if you put it in a cream or a lotion, you can put it on and it'll absorb quickly into
Okay, very good.
to work. Or if you want it to work over time, you could use more of a base oil. So it'll, you know, it'll go through slowly. and over time instead of like instant results.
Now, somewhere in the research that I was doing, it says that once you start the essential oils, and like the first sense to get hit with it, if you will, is like your nose, and it brings you like into the brain, into the limbic system, where it can go to the, other different parts of your body, and not only affecting different parts of your body, but also your emotions and your memories and things like that.
Absolutely.
So is this why it's so relaxing to people, or?
It can be. It can also do the opposite. I always say it's perception. It's how you perceive something. So if, for example, you had a traumatic event and you kind of recall that too, like say the smell of lavender, then the next time you smell that lavender, your body will tense up.
Right.
So it's finding stuff that works for you.
Okay.
And because, a lot of time our perception is included with our memories, it's including with our emotions and our feelings, it all triggers the same thing.
Okay.
So if you're looking to relax, if you find yourself in like you're getting a massage, and if you can recall down the road you're feeling stressed, if you can recall how you felt during that massage, it can shut yourself off from that sympathetic into the parasympathetic, which is where you're going to calm and rest, and that's where things heal and starts regenerating cells. It'll help switch that off. And unfortunately, in this day and age, everything's so stressful that we get stuck in that sympathetic division of our brains.
So this is good.
Which is the fight or flight. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
And until you shut that off, you won't be able to. And then you'll get digestion problems. You can have insomnia
it's like
problems.
a vicious circle. I mean,
Absolutely.
all you have to have is like one thing to start everything going. And then if you can't unplug the I don't want to say the blockage, if you will, then everything else just
you're just going to keep going in that fight or flight, and you're going to keep going in those hormones that we make. That will just, the cortisol will just go crazy. And then you feel awful, like you feel toxically sick from those hormones overproducing, and you can't shut it off.
Wow.
So being able to stop that cycle is very important in the relaxation process.
I've taken you away from your notes. I apologize.
That's okay, not a problem.
In the beginning, when I welcomed our audience, I sort of told them to make sure that they check with their primary care provider or their physician before, number one, going for massage therapy. If they've had, especially like blood clots or anything like that, or even the aromatherapy if they have like epilepsy or a history of
There are
seizures.
some oils that will trigger, especially there's big studies out there for epilepsy.
Okay.
So ones
Do you
like,
want to just expound a little
there's
bit,
some,
if you can,
I wrote
please?
down a few of them here.
Okay.
So for example, like sage, fennel, birch, rosemary, yarrow, wintergreen, peppermint, those smells are strong enough that they can really cause the seizure to happen. Yeah. And then the same thing like for asthma, if you're deeply asthmatic, some of the oils can be irritating. So and I make sure that you can always like smell the cap instead of the actual oil to see if something is bothering them. And I always, check in with people and I ask them, what's wrong? I have you do a medical history report to kind of go over, what's going on. And anyone that has any kind of health problem, it's always best to be safe to check whether you're doing massage or aromatherapy.
Sure. Very good. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, not a problem.
Okay. In the early days, I think there was a French doctor who coined the aromatherapy term because he found out that lavender was useful to his practitioners. And what was it? It was like 1937. Oh, I know what it was. It was the power of lavender oil on healing skin burns.
Yeah.
I had never heard that
before. You can
before,
use it on bee stings too.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh,
you
wow.
can. It's an anti-inflammatory as well. So it's healing. It's got these amazing benefits. Not only is it just calming, lavender oil can be super calming to people, but it has these health benefits on the side of, It
No.
can take away stings. It can take away itchiness. Some people that get like these allergic reactions to mosquito bites, you can put a little bit of lavender oil right on there. It'll help soothe and get rid of the
I'd never heard that
inflammation.
before. I'd heard like if you put a little bit on your pillow,
Mm-hmm.
or like on your blanket, or like your nightshirt or your
Yep.
pajamas or whatever, that it'll help to relax you so you can sleep. But never
Absolutely.
about the bee
The
stings and
healing
stuff.
benefits of the
That's very
oils.
good.
Absolutely. I mean, in the plants where these essence are coming from, that's their defense system. Either they will, make a smell that's so awful that animals and bees and they'll stay away from it, or it'll bring people to it. It'll entice them to come towards them to help
wow.
pollinate. And so it's these amazing substances and these little chemicals that are in the cells of these plants that makes this essence
That's great.
that we use now.
Okay, I don't have a question right now for
Okay.
you. So what else would you like to tell us about these?
Oh, sure. Let's
Okay.
see. They talk about how they are made.
Okay.
That, like I was saying before, in the plants, it's the essence. While they're in the plant, it's the essence. When they distill them, then they become essential oils.
Okay.
And there's three main ways of doing it. Three most popular. It's steam distillation,
Okay.
where they put hundreds and hundreds of the same petals, roots, stems, depending on what kind of oil they're going for, and these large vats, and they use high pressured steam to break apart the flower, and it pulls out these oils from the plant, and then that goes into another vat where the water and the oil separate.
Okay.
And then especially for that, the oil is then the essential oil, but the water is also used because it has some of the essence from the flower, but it's not as potent, it's not as concentrated. So
Okay.
for people who have sensitive skin, or for younger children or pregnant women, people that have some health issues, they can use the water part of it, which is a hydrosol,
Okay.
instead of using the highly concentrated oil
So
that
it's
they come in.
almost the same thing, only it's reduced way
It's
down.
reduced way down
okay.
because it's the water part of it, not the oil itself. It's not so concentrated.
Well,
so
that's
that's
good to
good for
know.
people
Yeah.
that are pregnant, for younger children, babies, when they make products safe enough for them.
Wow. Okay.
And that's another thing. There's some oils that shouldn't be used on kids.
Oh, really?
They're usually they say 5 and up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any that I say on their kids safe. There are some that are kids safe, and you can find them, like Plant Therapy makes a whole line of kids safe essential oils to use and blends.
Okay.
But general rule, 5 and older. But like peppermint, you don't want to use peppermint on anyone
little
under
one?
the age of 10.
Oh, really? Why? Does
It's too strong.
stimulate
It's
them or
too,
something?
yeah, it's too not component, that's not the word I'm looking, too concentrated. It's too
Okay.
strong for their bodies.
Okay.
It can be cause
Make them do strange
burns
things.
or,
Okay.
it can affect the skin that way. And, if you do notice, if you're getting a massage and someone is using essential oils and you do get a reaction, you want to let them know right away, explain what you're feeling. Usually you get like irritated redness, it can be itching, but severe reactions can be burns. So
Really?
you
Okay.
just want to make sure you're diluting the oils, and just let anyone know, because then you can just wipe the skin off and then use soap and water.
Because
And
with
it should
each
be
person,
sealed.
I suppose, everybody is different. So what might be good for you might react with my
Exactly.
system. Okay. All right.
And if you're using some oils that can have a reaction, I always do like a test area. Somewhere on the inside of the arm where it's going to be more sensitive,
Sure.
and you can see if there's any reaction. Better be safe than sorry.
Oh, sure.
You don't want to hurt anyone. You're
No,
trying to make it the
gosh,
opposite.
No.
What else? I'm trying to see here from what I wrote. Different other things you can use. You can use essential oils in the bath.
Okay.
You can make salts. You can make bubble baths. You can make soap. Actual like bar soap. They could
Okay.
use essential oils.
Now, if you drew a tub of water and put in some drops of oil, I mean, it's going to dilute with the water in the tub. So, yes, it's on your skin, but it's not a direct
It's
thing.
not
and
so
it's
direct,
diluted.
right? And
Okay.
some like peppermint. You don't want to do a bath with peppermint oil. It's very, like I was saying earlier, it's very strong oil. It's good to do it in a foot bath, but an overall body, peppermint can be irritating.
Oh, okay.
So you want to find, you look up the oils and kind of look about them if you're ordering them or buying them, so that you know kind of like what's going on.
Now, somewhere along the way, this was a few years ago, um, an elderly lady told me she'd had arthritis, and she told me that if you used peppermint oil on your joints, it would be good for the arthritis. So, I went looking
Peppermint
for.
is cooling.
Is it?
So
it
those
would.
inflamed joints,
Okay.
it would help cool it down.
Okay.
I wouldn't use it directly.
Mhm.
I would mix it in with some kind of carrier oil like almond oil, or you can do lotions or creams you can make it on. But it has those the properties to help break down some of that inflammation.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah.
What do you qualify as a carrier oil?
A carrier oil is something, it's just a base oil.
Mhm.
So I can use avocado oil, almond oil, apricot oil, grapeseed oil, jojoba wax, which is a great one because it's about the same consistency as our skin.
Okay.
The oils in our skin, it's about the same, and it doesn't go rancid.
Oh, really?
So it's a great one to make blends
lasts.
with. It'll last a long time. That's the other thing. Like if you want to make something, you don't unless you want to add preservatives, which I try to stay away from as much as I can, because that's just chemicals going in my mind. Smaller batches are usually better. They'll last longer, and you know how long the shelf life is. So I always like to do it. And if you keep things in the refrigerator, it helps keep the shelf life longer.
Oh, really?
Of essential
Okay.
oil.
All right. Good.
Coolness helps.
All right. So in the beginning, we had also talked about you are starting to make a few things, and eventually you'll expand.
Yes, I want to start a line of natural products that we can use. I do like my creams. I haven't started producing them yet. I'm still in the playing phase, but I can do lip butters, which are wonderful in the lips. This is a hand cleanser made with aloe vera gel, so it's not drying out like the antiseptic hand washes. If you can't, don't have water to use, or in between, the day, if you feel like your hands are getting gross, you can use that. There's room sprays, linen sprays. You can use these on your body. Instead of doing a heavy perfume, you can just do a light scent of. I like this one is a relaxation blend, which is lavender, frankincense, and a little bit of ylang ylang, which is a flower essence, which is more on the sweeter side.
Okay.
So just a little bit of that is used.
Now, is there any essential oil that you can mix? Like, I know here in southern Vermont, people are bothered with ticks like crazy. Is there something that you can mix up together to repel ticks?
There are. Tea tree is a great one to use to help repel. You can make a blend of tea tree, eucalyptus, citronella is another one you can add into that. Lemon is always a great one. They make synergies now that are blends that are pre-made for using. You can add it to creams. You can add it to sprays. So there are definitely things to help ward off some of the little
that's great.
little bugs that we
so when you
don't
get
see.
going
Mosquitoes.
with your line, remember the ticks.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Lemongrass is another great one.
Uh-huh.
They always say to plant lemongrass on your patio in little containers to help break up the mosquitoes.
That's very good. That's very good. Now we have about 5 minutes before we get Alex out here as your model, so you can experiment and talk to him a little bit and show some different massage techniques. What else would you like to summarize basically and let the viewers know?
Aromatherapy is a wonderful way to relax. It's a wonderful and natural way to help if you have some, like you were saying, arthritis. You can attack it from a natural healing level and not have to take medication. I find that everything's prescribed these days. Antibiotics, do this, do that, and we're kind of getting away from the natural way of healing things. And aromatherapy is a wonderful way to do that. And it's natural, and it may not be for everyone. Some people have smell issues. They don't like the smell of things. But for those that don't mind it and enjoy it, it's a wonderful way to heal from the inside out.
That's very good. Now, getting back to your business, do you accept insurances, or is it?
I do not.
pay?
Massage is not quite there yet.
Okay.
They are starting to do some training sessions out west to
Okay.
see how, in the state of Washington, this past year they did some trials to see how it worked. There are some massage therapists that do work with like accident injuries. I do not, unfortunately, at this time do that.
Okay.
So mine is just a cash-based business.
Okay. And do you like have a sliding scale for folks that might not be able to afford the
I
whole?
do different times and
Scenarios?
amounts.
Okay.
So it's kind of from smaller amounts. Usually my lower is 45 minutes, and then I can usually do up to like 2 hours. So depending on what people are looking for and how it can affect them.
That's good.
Financially too.
Sure,
So I'm
sure.
always trying to, make it big enough so that everyone can try
That's
it out.
wonderful. That really is, because I know that sometimes people just can't afford, in today's day. So
It
this is
is.
good to know.
And massage has come so far. It used to be just, people would think of it as just, a wealthy person going to get rubbed down. But it's not that anymore.
No.
It's therapeutic. In my mind, it helps relieve the stress that we put on ourselves. And every day, it's maintenance. Because we need to, we can only build up so much before our bodies start to break down around us, and you get sick, and you get all these spasms and injuries. So it's avoiding those and getting it before that happens.
Well, even before we went on camera, talking to you about the lymphedema and a couple of other different things, I mean, it's just amazing to know that there may be an essential oil that is helpful to that as well. So in the future, Amy is planning on coming back to us, hopefully. I haven't scared her away. And this is really, really so much to take in. It's really wonderful.
I've enjoyed learning about essential oils, and I'm still learning. I'm still taking classes, and I enjoy every minute of it. It's amazing what just a little drop of oil can do.
Sure. And just before, we've got a couple of seconds left. Do you want to talk about citrus and light?
Oh yes, some of the oils can be phototoxic, so that the light can, if you use it on your body, I always recommend certain oils like lemon and grapefruit. If you're going to go out in direct light, wear sunscreen, wear protective clothing, because they can cause your skin to burn at a quicker rate, just because of the citrus oils that are in there.
Sure. That's one of the things we were talking about off camera, and I made myself a note and almost forgot to bring it forward.
I'm glad you said that. So. Absolutely.
So I think we're going to close right now and bring out Alex Reichert, our content manager here at Cat TV. He is going to be your model for today.
Yes.
Excuse me. He has some questions to talk to you, and then you have some massage therapy techniques that you can show on him. And again, I want to thank Amy Green for being here today with us. She is at Amy Green LMT at 160 Benmont Avenue here in Bennington. Her phone number for those that want to get a hold of her is 845-901-3868. So, quick set change, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thanks for watching Mindful Health Alternatives here on Cat TV, Channel 15. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so I'm Alex Reichert. I'm the content manager here at Cat TV. I'm happy to be the massage dummy today. I do have some questions I would like to ask you about. I sit in my office all day, and that can be problematic. It encourages kyphosis and all that. But I also go to the gym, and I kind of try to balance it, and I stretch and try to do yoga here and there. Is it beneficial for me to have massage therapy?
Absolutely. You're sitting, whether you're at a computer desk or if you're behind a steering wheel driving in your car, you're sitting in the same position for an extended amount of time. So what's going to happen is your posture over time starts to lessen. You curve your back, your shoulders round forward. It puts strain on the top and lower back. And then, if you're on a computer, usually looking down at your keyboard or constantly turning your head. So you're stressing all those muscles in your back. And if you're doing it for an extended amount of time, then what happens is you start getting adhesions, or knots as people call them.
Okay.
And so what happens is little tiny molecules get stuck in the muscle fibers. And if you're doing the same position over and over, it's being stuck and building up. and then they build on top of each other. So you're building these knots of ropes, basically. And so in order to get rid of that is you have to massage them out.
Okay. Now, could the same thing happen at the gym when I'm working the same muscles in the same way,
Absolutely.
week
If you're
over
doing
week?
the same, a lot of people do the same exercises because they know that's what works for
Mhm.
their body. And you know, when you're working out, you're tearing those muscle fibers, and then your body sends out all this fluid and acid to try to like block and protect you.
Mhm.
And so if you're constantly building the same things, you're straining those muscles. They need to get relaxed. They need to let go. And what happens is they contract, and over time they lose the full range of motion. And so massaging will definitely
Okay,
help
because I feel
loosen
that,
up.
you know, sometimes with my back and stuff, it's hard to get a full flex.
As the
I can't
muscle
touch my
builds
whole
up,
back anymore,
yeah,
you know.
and that's
So-
another thing that happens. The muscle's building and building and building, and you want it to build. That's why most people go to work
Absolutely,
out
that's
to
why
get
I go.
healthy. But
Yeah.
they're also, with all the extra strain on those muscles, causes adhesions, and you want to break those up to help get them to loose, and then you'll have that range of motion and the larger muscles.
Right. My hope is that through massage and stretching, it will encourage a greater range of motion to allow
Absolutely.
my body to
Absolutely.
work harder and a greater mind-muscle connection and all that.
And it'll increase your circulation, which will help push everything through your body. It'll help you push everything through that lymphatic system, so all the negative stuff that we're pulling up can get out.
Well, I like that.
All right, sounds good. So first, a few questions. Have you had a massage before?
I've had massages before. I don't know that I've ever had, you know, specific massage therapy, so to
Okay.
speak.
And then the other question is, how are you feeling? What's
feel-
bothering you?
I feel great today. One thing that does nag me on a regular basis is my lower back and my right side. There's tightness there, and I almost feel like it's to the anterior pelvic tilt
Mhm.
related, which I try to stretch, but it still kind of nags here and there. So I don't know if there's something that you could do could help, or maybe
We
you could
can
tell
definitely
me.
try. You can sometimes our bodies, if you have an injury, if you have something that's bothering you, our bodies will try to tighten around that area to kind of help protect it. And so those muscles tightening can then pull you literally like out of alignment. So
Okay.
the sooner you can address those, the better. So I don't know how long you've been feeling that way.
Oh, it's been a while. It's been I hesitate to call it chronic because it's not like pain. It's just like
An
s-
irritation.
Yeah,
You
an
know it's there.
Right. Yeah. And some days it's better than others. But if I could get it to go away, I'd be very happy.
Absolutely. And a lot of times too, it's a repetitive motion that we're doing. Like you're sitting at your desk, you could be leaning in your seat one way because it's more comfortable for you to sit one way because of a pelvic
Yeah,
tilt.
definitely.
And then those muscles are getting used to doing that, and so then that rotation can be starting in the pelvic because
Okay.
you're leaning on the armrest of your chair.
Yeah, I
or
notice
your
that
actual
sometimes I find
desk.
myself leaning to the one
So
side.
it's kind of, you know, you got some homework to do now.
Yes.
You're going to have to stay aware of your body mechanics as you're working, and that's a big part of it. People that are lifting heavy things, you know, sometimes we forget and we just bend down and pick it up, and we're not bending with our knees
Mhm.
to support the back. So it's finding the little things that we do every day and being aware of what we do to help figure it out and to help make it so it's not so problematic.
Well, that's
in the
great.
future. All right. So what we'll have you do is I'll have you lay down. You said you're having some low back issues,
Yep.
so we'll address that.
Okay.
I will have you take your shirt
Okay.
off. And you can hop on. I do have a pillow underneath that you can move down, and we'll adjust as you get on the table. So we'll have you start face down. Any irritation to smells
Not
at all?
really.
Okay. I don't
Just
have-
nail polish.
Nail polish. Not a fan of nail polish. Would you say you tend to be more on the stressed side?
No, I'm pretty
No.
laid back.
Okay, good. Okay, so with your feet straight up, is that a comfortable position with that pillow there?
Yes.
I'm just gonna pull the pillow a little bit more over here so it's more even. There you go. And you can put your foot down. Is the headrest in a good spot for you?
Yep, it's pretty
Okay.
comfortable.
I'm gonna have you put your arms down by your sides. That's another thing. Leaving your arms extended over your head for a long period of time can cause a lot of adhesion problems. So you want to keep them down by our sides as much as we possibly can. I don't know if they can see me over here.
You,
No? Okay. I'm just putting together some massage cream. container.
Now Amy's putting together some massage cream, and when she comes back onto the camera, she'll let you know what she was putting into
Yes.
it.
So this, I'll show you real quick. This is a homemade cream that I make. I use cocoa butter. I use a little bit of aloe vera gel. I use beeswax, and I use jojoba wax. So it's natural, smells wonderful, nice and invigorating. And then I'm going to add a little essential oils. And to that I'm going to add lavender, frankincense, and a little bit of ylang ylang, just to help promote relaxation. A couple drops of the lavender, a drops of the frankincense. Some of the thicker oils take a little bit longer to come out of the bottle. And so I'm using the cream as my carrier oil, so it shouldn't be irritating at all. But if it is, please just let me know and we can wipe that off. So the lavender is calming. It helps with some inflammation if there's an irritation going on in the low back muscles. And I just stir it in. And another nice thing that we can do is add a little essential oil on a cotton ball. The face crest that I have on here has a little piece that drops down that allows us to put on some smells. But you change it up a little and add a little citrus. So we'll do a little sweet orange. And lemon. And this will help break up some, any germs that are in the area. And it just leaves you happy. Okay. So I have this little arm that comes down with a little aromatherapy cup, and I just put the cotton ball right in there. Can you smell that?
Mm-hmm.
How does that smell to you?
Pretty good.
Okay, good. Let me know if anytime that is irritating. Draping is always very important. I only open the areas that I'm working on. Was it more the left side or the right side?
Definitely more the right side.
Okay. Just trying to ward my hands up so I don't go in with cold hands. And when you're trying to relax the body, you use long, soft strokes. If you're trying to, like some athletics come before and after a game, before you would want to jostle the muscles, get them warmed up. But here we want to relax the muscles. We're going to do some long gliding strokes. And working on both sides of the spine. You always want to stay off the bone structures and just work with the soft connective tissue and muscles. I always check in with pressure. How's the pressure so far?
Very good.
Okay. Please let me know if anything feels uncomfortable and if the pressure is not what you like. Usually people that are coming with specific reasons, I tend to do more of a therapeutic work. It can be getting into some of the deeper muscles. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be painful, but it can be, some people may have a different reaction. So I'm always checking in with pressure. Then as you warm up the area, you can work down to the deeper level. See, right about midway, these muscles get really ropey, really tight, and that is an indicator of adhesions. Sometimes you can like strum right over those muscles, they get so tight. So you're just working through the layers, getting to those deeper layers, loosening up that connective tissue, that fascia that helps hold all of our muscles in place. And then once those muscles at that top layer is warmed up, you can start doing some deeper work, some circular motion, some friction to try to break up some of those adhesions. How's that pressure?
That's good. Is my back knotted as you're working it?
Is it knotted?
Yeah,
You
like-
definitely have some strained muscles in the back here.
Okay.
You can see they kind of pop out a little bit. And then as you work, as you see the pinkness show up on the top of the skin, that's how you know that you're releasing some of those adhesions.
Because like the blood flow is starting
The
to
blood
return.
flow is returning. So when you find those adhesions, as you're pressing in, that compression brings with it oxygenated blood. It brings water. It's rehydrating those muscles that are so tight that nothing could get through, nothing could penetrate them. And then they're releasing, so they're letting go, and all those molecules that were stuck in those fibers are now coming up to the surface. And then we kind of push them into those lymphatic drainage spots in your lymph nodes. You get into that iliac crest here where all those lovely attachments are. How's that feeling in there?
That's like right where.
Right tender
Yeah.
through there, yeah. A lot of times I find that the iliac crest has all those glute attachments. And the first thing we do when we're straining, when we're stressed, is we clench. Our body wants to curl in and protect itself. And then that can cause back problems, where it really is not the low back, but those glute muscles where they attach is so tight it's pulling everything out. And if you're finding you're having a lot of back problems, working on your core will help really strengthen that low back. Sometimes we can even come across like a trigger point, which is like, I always refer to it kind of like a cavity. You know, when you first get a cavity, it's an irritant. It's not a thing major, but if you leave it and let it get worse and worse, eventually it becomes so inflamed that you're so painful and so inflamed that eventually you need a root canal. Well, the same thing works with adhesions. You know, eventually, if they're left alone, they get worse and worse and they build on top of each other, and your body can only take so much, so eventually it starts saying, hello, I'm in here, let me out. And then you get these spots that are, they can be painful. They can feel like, you know, it takes your breath away. Now, are there any spots in this area that you feel like are the spot?
Yeah, no, you've been hitting that. The
Right in
spot.
here?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. That's right at the gluteus medius attachment.
And like when I squat and deadlift, to keep my back safe, it's very important to squeeze the glutes so I can see where that would come from.
So right in there.
Yeah, like it's crazy how your Like,
And it's
feels like your fingers are right on the pain. It's crazy.
And I'm barely pressing any pressure. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very painful and 1 being not so bad.
That is about 1.5.
Okay. But if I push a little deeper.
That again into like 3, 4
Okay.
territory.
I always like to tell people to stay around don't go higher than a 7 if you're working with a pain scale, because at that point you start to tighten and then you do the opposite effect of actually wanting to. And so the lavender that we used in this cream will help with those anti-inflammatory. It'll help calm the area down. It can be anti-spasmodic. So if you have cramping, muscle cramping, it'll help with that. And the heat that is coming out of this area now is very noticeable, very palpable.
So with your massage techniques, what you've done is basically open a barrier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because
you
you're
warm it
getting the
up
heat and
because you don't
stuff.
want to go right in.
Mhm.
You can actually injure someone if you just get straight in. I always think of it as like an onion. You have to warm up the layers of the
Mhm.
onion. You can't just jump right in. That's when you cause injury. And by bringing in that oxygen and bringing in the water molecules, it's hydrating the muscle and it's letting it release. It's healing it from the inside out. And then anytime you do some deeper work, you always just want to make it feel relaxed again. So you just lightly rub over and then you can move on. You can do dragging. You kind of hook your hand into the muscle
Mhm.
and then slowly pull. Sometimes the fascia will get stuck, so that slow drag will help release it. Can you notice a difference between the two sides?
Yeah, I feel much hotter on the right side. I also feel like it's a bit more loose.
Absolutely. And everything is connected, which is amazing.
Mhm.
You know, some people will have pain in the back, but it's really in the hip. But that's just where the referred pain is going. And our bodies always want to be balanced, or they try to at least. They always want to be upright. So if there's something going on in the hip, the shoulders are going to react.
Mhm.
And they're going to try to counterbalance so that you're not falling over. And then the neck is going to counterbalance the shoulders.
Yep.
And so that's how, unfortunately, we become so out of whack when we have a problem. And then we can move on. As we get stressed, and even with working out, our shoulders will start to creep up by our ears. And again, those holding patterns.
And I, for one, like, with the stress and stuff, it's like what I call turtling. It's because, and I don't realize I'm doing it, but the
Absolutely.
shoulders are
And this
right
time
up
of the
around the
year
ears.
is another big time for that. As we get cold, you know, you want to curl in and save some of that body heat that we're
Mhm.
making. So then the shoulders come up, and we round our shoulders, and that causes so many problems. And with cell phones and tablets these days, everyone's looking down. They're finding a lot of correlations with that, and now new neck problems and wrist problems. How are your shoulders feeling?
My shoulders are pretty good most of the time. I just end up with tightness in the traps from, working out and stuff.
Do you feel like your shoulders are rounded a lot of the times?
I do notice myself, needing to remind myself to pull the scapula back and Bring the shoulders down.
And for those that are stuck behind a computer all day, there's exercises and stretching that you can do while sitting there to help. Some people don't have the opportunities to get up and walk around as much. And then you want to work on range of motion. You just relax your arm. There you go. Working with the same muscles, but in just a different position can help with that. And just going along the muscle fibers, traps and the rhomboids, feeling for any blockages, any adhesions. A lot of computer workers have really tight levator scapulas. Their arms are always extended out in front of them. And this is moving lymph. Anything that's stagnant, stuck in the muscles. Are you feeling any more relaxed than when we started?
Yes, a lot, actually.
And aromatherapy really helps aid in that. Having that relaxing blend underneath your nose. Those smells are going right up into the brain, telling us to relax. And you can see the pinkening on the skin where everything is releasing. And in just those few minutes, you can see a difference in the height of your shoulders. This one is back down. Kind of smooth it out. And then you can go to the other side. Now, how about now? Can you notice a difference?
Yeah, just there when you pushed back down on the, was it the iliac crest?
Mm-hmm.
There was significantly less tightness and pain
Good.
there, so.
Good. And then it will also continue. So, sometimes you don't feel the results right away. Your body has to absorb the change, the added increase in lymph movement will help reduce any inflammation, any pain associated with that.
Now, Amy, now that you finish with the massage, do you advocate drinking more liquid,
Absolutely.
more water?
That'll help flush that
Yeah.
lymphatic system.
Okay.
So everything that we just released from those muscles, like I said earlier, is sitting on the top layer. And so by drinking water, you're going to push them into those lymphatic nodes and then out through your body.
Good.
Always recommend that.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you
really
so much
appreciate
for having
it.
me. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On that note, I want you to stay tuned for future episodes of Mindful Health Alternatives coming up in 2016. We hope to have a physical therapist who's really into lymphedema and massage lymphedema therapy. A musical therapist is in the works, and hopefully some breath work with a practitioner. And lots of other good things are coming this way in 2016. So stay tuned for future programs here at CAT TV for Mindful Health Alternatives. And I'd like you to come back and visit. Thank you again to our audience for watching us today. And we look forward to seeing you again soon with a new topic.